Greetings, YouTubians, and welcome back to Wayne Sharp World, where today we have another episode brought to you by DLT Trading. Check them out for all of your knives and EDC purposes. This knife here will be linked below in the description of this video to check out and purchase one for yourself. And this knife is none other than the Buck Paradigm Shift. Now, before I go any further into this review, I'd like to thank you guys for tuning in today. If you like what you see, please do me a huge favor. Hit that subscribe button, follow along, and I will continue to bring you the content. Now, let's take a look at some overall specs on this pretty awesome knife right here. We have an overall length of 7.375 inches, a blade length coming in at 3 inches with a cutting edge at 3 inches as well. We have a blade width coming in at 1.08 inches with a blade thickness of 0.12 inches. We have a blade steel of S35VN with some very, very good Boss heat treating. We'll talk a little bit more about that when we get to the blade. We have a blade grind of a hollow grind with a 4.375 inch handle length, a 0.56 inch handle thickness, as well as a handle width right around 1 inch. This handle material is G10. We have a user of a tip-up right or left-hand carry with a weight coming in at 4.8 ounces and a price of $199.99. Now keep in mind, this knife is also made in the good old grand United States of America by Buck. So being a USA-made blade, it's not going to be cheap. U.S. manufacturing is not cheap. So that is what it is, but I'm telling you what, Buck did a very good job of justifying that $200 price tag, and I'm going to tell you why right here, right now, after some size comparisons. Let's take a look at some size comparisons and see just what we got here. Let's pop out the ProTech Malibu. The ProTech Malibu, as well as the Spyderco Smock. Let me even that up. I have not been drinking, not yet. Straighten those all up. There we go. So as you can see, this is pretty much in line with both of these knives. A little smaller than both, but pretty good size comparisons to give you guys an idea. And one more round here. Let's go the Benchmade route. And this knife really is a good mixture of the Benchmade Griptilian, as well as the Benchmade Bug Out. It's kind of in between them in size, and it really does take some pretty good qualities from the Griptilian, puts it into a little smaller package, and a totally different look and appearance that I really, really like a lot. So pretty good comparisons there. Now let's talk about this blade, because I tell you what, guys, this is a very, very, very nice blade. There's room for improvement. It's not perfect, but this is a very well done job by Buck. The edge, which I have at 28 thousandths, may not seem super slicey, but it slices like it's 18 thousandths behind the edge, and that's due to a wide edge a wide edge width, as well as angle, which transitions into a pretty nice hollow grind. And to top that all off, you have the Boss heat treatment, which I think a lot of people would recognize as one of, if not the best heat treatment in the industry. They do a fantastic job, and that really is one of the huge perks of Buck knives is I don't think all of them, but I think a lot of them. I think all the USA-made blades come with the Boss heat treatment. I'm pretty sure about that, but don't take my word for it. If it's Boss heat treated, you will see that on there right there. And it's a pretty cool little treatment. I like the way they did that. They put the blade steel in the Boss. I tell you what, Boss and S35VN is a pretty perfect combination. And this hollow grind here is really no slouch. The only knock I might have on it is I wish it would come up a little farther up the blade. I know that would change aesthetics, but then that kind of gets into where I would want to improve this blade, because with the nature of the opening mechanism, which we'll talk more about in the action, I think this knife would really be justified with a little bit of a lighter blade. This blade isn't super heavy, but it's not very light. I think if they could find ways to make this blade lighter, maybe a slightly thinner stock, carry that hollow grind up a little further, Obviously, you do that, you would have to move the blade branding around, which would be okay. I don't think they did a horrible job with blade branding on this, but you know, maybe do what you did over here with the Boston S35. Move it all up towards the corner. So take the anchor up there and then Buck USA under it, and then that would give you a lot of room to move that hollow grind up, to take that swedge back a little, maybe bring the swedge in more. You'd take a significant amount of weight out of that blade, and that would make the action even better. Now, a little hint, the action isn't that bad at all on this. The action's pretty good, but we'll talk about that a little later. But overall, this blade is just a very, very attractive blade shape overall. Classy, simple, and in my opinion, perfect for EDC. It really is a very well executed blade by Buck, and it looks great. And this blade transitions into a very, very nice handle and ergos. The ergos on this knife are really good. They feel real good in the hand. There's one little spot right up here, and this is, you know, you're talking, everyone has different size hands, but my hands, I can adjust them down, and it feels okay right here. But I want to just move up a little more to get the butt of the knife all the way around my pinky. And to do that, I move it up here. But then I got this little point right here, which is not, I wouldn't call it a hot spot, but it's definitely, I wish it was smoothed out. As you can see, where the end of the blade stock comes up to here, if they just smooth that, brought that point up to kind of just be flush with the bottom of this blade, it would be just enough room to where I wouldn't feel that much. It would feel even better. Even as is, it really does feel okay, but I feel that little point there. It would feel fantastic if that was moved up. But other than that, the ergos are really on point with this guy. The bolster locks look really good and smooth. They transition well into the G10 handle, and it just looks really, really uniform. Uniform is really the best word for this knife. I like the gold accents. I think they work very well. There's not a lot of obnoxious branding on this knife. Maybe, you know, you get a little repetitive with the anchors, which is another reason why I don't think the anchor is really necessary up there. I think Buck USA up in the corner or something. I don't know. I'm nitpicking, but I don't like to see a lot of repetitiveness on the blades. I would be fine if that was just a completely neutral pivot without an anchor there, and you just left that as is. Who knows? But regardless, even as is, it really does look very, very good. And there's something else I want to bring a lot of attention to, and that's right here. That's this pocket clip. Because this pocket clip, I want to stop right now and just very, very, very well done job by Buck. They executed this clip perfectly. It's deep carry. It has great clip retention. It is reversible. It has no hot spots. It looks good. It's quiet and subdued branding. You guys remember when I was reviewing the Vero Synapse a while back and it had that obnoxious branding? This is how it's done. They put their brand there. It's nice, you can see it, but it doesn't scream, it doesn't pop, it doesn't slap you in the face. It looks good, it's there, but it's not too much. That's a little detail, but that really sticks out to me. I really appreciate that. They really put thought into that, because Buck pocket clips in the past have not been very good. They've been tacky and just loud. This is perfect. I mean, they literally, I'm not saying it's the best looking pocket clip I've ever seen, but it's been executed to perfection. They improved it, they made it better, it's reversible, it carries great in the pocket. There's no issues I have with this clip, and it made me so happy. It really did. It made me very happy to put this clip in hand because there's no hot spots, it feels good. It's a huge part of this knife, and it works very, very well. It looks good, and Buck really knocked that clip out of the park. So I really had to put a lot of emphasis in that. And the rest of this handle in general, like I said, it really does feel good. I just wish that little point up there would be moved up a little, but even as is, it does still feel pretty darn good in the hand. Now, going into the action, this is very unique. Before we talk action, we really have to talk about the opening mechanism here, which is the shift bolster lock. So if you guys are familiar with the ProTech Magic Whiskers, I believe is what it's called, or ProTech Magic, something like that, you just shift the button lock, the bolster. Shift the bolster, close it. It's closed. Now you want to open it, you just shift it, and it flies right out. So that's kind of how it works. As a matter of fact, it's worth bringing it in here. And as you can see, this works just like a regular automatic knife. And as you move the lock, you can see it move. It pushes it in. See it going? So it pushes it, and it comes right out. So that's how that works. Pretty simple, very effective. And as far as the action, as far as the snappiness and the spring tension, you know, the bolster itself is nice and smooth. It's not gritty or chalky. Very smooth action on the bolster lock. And the spring in here is very nice. I mean, it flicks out really, really well. Now, this is not ProTech snappy, but I don't think that's a knock on it, because I think we all know ProTech, if you're as good as a ProTech, you're one of the best in the business. So that's a high demand. I haven't seen a whole lot of stuff like this from Buck before. So as far as I'm concerned, this is, you know, this is relatively new for Buck, and I think they did a really, really good job of it first time around. The spring tension's good. The action is quick. I wouldn't call it super snappy, but it's quick. It's satisfactory. I'm not disappointed by it. By no means whatsoever. As a matter of fact, I'm quite impressed by it, because like I said, this is not something you see a lot from Buck. And they did a very, very good job of it. Another reason, though, why I think a slightly lighter blade would make this knife so much better is that you would get that extra bit of snappiness if you just made that stock just a hair. I mean, just a hair thinner. Move the hollow grind up a little. Carry the swedge back. Take as much weight off that blade as you can, and you're gonna get an even better, snappier, quicker action. But even as is, it is really good. It's really good. I'm happy with it. I really, really like this knife. Now, another thing that's really important to note as far as the action is they made it very easy to close one hand. You simply push the bolster out and close the blade. It's that simple. And, you know, that can be hard sometimes in other knives that have stronger springs. So it's very easy to do. The action has been very consistent throughout the whole time. I don't feel anything, you know, wearing down or breaking down on me. It feels super, super solid, very good. I couldn't be happier with the quality of work Buck has put into this knife. It does feel very good. Overall thoughts on this knife, even as it is, without the suggestions for improvements I made, this is an excellent knife and a huge step for Buck in the segment of the knife industry, or in this segment of the knife industry. We're talking the $175 to $250-ish range that is really dominated by Benchmade and Spyderco as far as, you know, the American-made knives. And, you know, there's a couple other ones, you know, Spyderco, Microtech. But this is a big step for Buck. I think they did a lot of really good things here. I really hope it gets some love from the knife community. I hope some people give this knife a shot. It's also important to know there's a flipper version of this. So without this the bolster shift mechanism, just a regular flipper, and that would be very nice. I really want to get my hands on one of those flippers now, because I think I'd like the flipper just as much, if not maybe a little more than the shift. I've always thought these were pretty cool. I've handled a ProTech Magic Whiskers before, but I really do think I think a flipper would be just as nice. So it really comes down to just, you know, whatever floats your boat, what you think would be a you know, a better option for you, whether it be the bolster shift mechanism or whether or not it would be a flipper. But either way, you have some options. I'm going to link all those options below in this video, so hop on over to DLT Trading, check these guys out, and pick one up. Support Buck, because they really are making some really good strides. I really couldn't be happier with this. I wasn't expecting much out of it, because the Bucks I've handled in the past, I can't say I've loved. I've had a couple that I did like, but this is by far and away the best Buck I've ever handled. I really, really like this. Most likely going to be picking one up for myself. You guys should too. Check it out. Let me know what you think about this knife. What do you think about Buck? This is definitely a step forward in the right direction as far as I'm concerned. I hope to see a lot more like this stuff from them. Let me know what you guys think. What do you think about Buck? I hope you guys enjoyed this one. I hope you have a great rest of your day. And until the next one, I'm out.